All right, welcome back, Better Everyday podcast listeners. I'm your host, Brad Weems, live here from Market Street Media. Today's guest is a former hype man in the NBA and the WNBA. He's a dancer, a YouTube creator, a marketing genius, a TikTok beast, and known as the mayor of Charlotte. Today's guest is Aaron Dodge. What is up, Aaron?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for all the accolades. I'll have to get you to write all of my intros from now on. But that was very nice. Appreciate that.
I feel like they were pretty spot on.
I like the TikTok beast. That made me happy.
Anybody that's seen you dance, I mean, it's undeniable. So, Aaron, tell us more about you for someone that maybe doesn't know you. Your childhood. And growing up and then eventually working for the New Orleans Hornets.
Yeah, sure. And once again, appreciate you having me on here today. Always excited to talk about all things me, all things marketing and everything in between. So I'm originally from upstate New York, Syracuse area. Parents were us the heck out of here after I graduated high school. I'm the last of three. And so we moved down to South Carolina. I went to school at Coastal Carolina University in Myrtle Beach. Got out of there with a diploma, which a lot of people can't say because the beach is so darn close that nobody goes to class at times. So got out of there with a marketing degree and got into the NBA, luckily, at the drop. And I'm going to date myself. I do this every time I come on a podcast, but I graduated in 2008, the market crash, and it was a lot. But luckily, had a random idea to make a DVD on why the New Orleans Hornets should hire me as a basic intern, not like a sales guy or a corporate partnership or anything like that. It was just like, hey, I really want this job. Let me make a DVD on my digital camera and Windows media player on my Dell computer and shot it over to the New Orleans Hornets. Had an interview and picked up my entire life and moved into New Orleans, which is actually still pretty close to the Katrina time, which was interesting to see 2-3 years later, which isn't that big of a difference, but also at the same time was like, wow, like, geez, we're still in the thick of things. But it was a really cool opportunity. It was part-time, had to grind through that. And just from there on out, it was about 10 years. The next 10 years was all in the NBA and the WNBA. So it was a fun time. It was cool to live in a new area, living in upstate New York and going to school in Myrtle Beach. Was blessed for both of those experiences, and then went over to New Orleans, and 21 and single in New Orleans was a lot of fun as they are hitting it. Actually, I believe today is Fat Tuesday. So happy Mardi Gras, everyone.
There we go. So why the New Orleans Hornets of all teams?
Very simply, they had an internship. It was on the website that I was on called like Teamwork Online, which has a bunch of sports, a bunch of sporting jobs, and they had it on there. And I was just like, oh gosh, that would be so cool. They had just went to the Western Conference Finals the year before. Chris Paul, David West, great team, great city. Had a friend down there from high school that was getting his law degree at Tulane. And so I knew one or two people in the city. And yeah, the funny thing is I made the same exact video for the Tulane marketing department, and I never got a response back. So I did two DVDs in Tulane, and I got one response from the New Orleans Hornets, and the rest is history. And the funny thing about that is you think like, I'm going to make this DVD and everyone's going to be so impressed. And the funny thing is the full-time intern was the person that got it on his desk. And we still, to this day, like I always text him and say like, 10 years ago, you gave me a chance, because it's funny because he was just like a little intern in the big pot, and somebody from the department came over and was just like, some kid sent a DVD on why we should hire him. Can you just check it out and just see what this kid's all about? And he actually was like, yeah, I think we should interview him / hire him because he's crazy enough. And so it ended up happening. But we still keep in touch to this day.
So what did this video look like? Give me the contents.
Oh gosh, I ripped off Dick Vitale saying like, "Oh, America, are you serious?" So it's showtime, wham, bam, slam, and then it's like me, buzzed hair. I planned it out, so I like overnighted a New Orleans Hornets long sleeve T-shirt from like eBay, and this is like the fifth podcast that I've talked about this story, and I still need to rip it off of Facebook and put it up on my YouTube because it's hilarious. And anyway, I just took the top 5 things of why I thought I'd be good for it. I like basketball. I'm hardworking. I had an internship with the athletic department at my school. I'm like shooting jumpers in the gym of my university. It's like, now that I work in production and work in video, it's just like, it makes me like dry heave every time I see it. But, when the stars align and, one small decision can like cosmically shift. I'm not talking about like what you ate for breakfast, but like I had the idea to make this DVD, and I went along with it, and I shot listed it, and I put it together, and I have, it's not even really like the fact that, oh my gosh, I worked for the New Orleans Hornets. Like, it's the experiences. I mean, I still talk to 50 people that I used to work with in New Orleans and Minneapolis. And those are just long-time relationships that I'll never, ever, ever forget. So that's the cool part about the certain decisions that you make in life. And that was definitely one of them.
Well, it's no different than me, just sending you a direct message last Thursday saying, "Hey, watch your stuff on TikTok and your Instagram. Hey, I have a podcast. Would you ever want to hop on? Here we are." So,
of course, you said, "Wow, that was a quick response." I'm like, "Well, I'm in social media, so I have to respond to the DMs really quick."
I wasn't expecting a yes that quick, I guess is what I'm saying. So,
I got you, man.
So you get this job, this internship. What's work look like for you?
So I was in the game presentation department. So I was in everything so we describe that as everything but the basketball when you come into the arena. That's the dancers, the mascot, the music, the interactive team, catching T-shirts, handing out bobbleheads at the door, shooting videos with the players, on-court promotions during timeouts, all of that kind of stuff. And so I was an intern in that sense. I was one of 8. I'll never forget it. We walk into the first meeting, and I make it sound like more like movie Hollywood than it actually was. But it basically said, like, look around, there's 8 of you here. We're going to bring 2 of you on full time the next season, one in the event presentation department and one in the game presentation department. And I said, I'm going to be one of them because I really enjoy, like, first 2-3 weeks. I was like, this is amazing. I'm, right around all these players. I'm doing all these promotions. I'm, rolling a lot of T-shirts, but T-shirts that fans are going to wear throughout the city. It was always really cool to like see a T-shirt at a coffee shop, and I'm like, there's a 95% chance that I rolled that T-shirt. So that was really cool. But yeah, so we worked every single home game. We worked events in the community, from just going to a small outdoor concert that, like in the city park, and we take a 10x10 tent, and we take a table, and we take pocket schedules and sales collateral and a couple dancers, and throw some T-shirts from the stage, do all that kind of stuff. So that was what it boiled down to. But I luckily had enough in savings to where I didn't have to get a secondary job, and I just made sure that I was available all the time. Like, you need people to roll T-shirts, I'll be there. You need me to work this event, I'll be there. And so that definitely allowed for me to, show my face a lot. And when you're just around a lot, then then the corporate sponsorship guy is like, oh, that Dodge kid, or now my direct boss, but my boss's boss is like, that Dodge guy's around a lot. Like, what's going on? Like, he's funny. He's this, he's that. Like, what's going on with him? And so it just, if your face is around enough, it gets noticed. And so it's just like, here I am. So
you just knew that you were going to outwork everybody else that you were going up against for this job.
Basically.
Yeah. So, so you're in New Orleans how long now?
That was 2 years.
Okay.
I did. So I did the part-time. It worked out how I wanted it to, and I got the full-time position the following season. So that was now, first kind of sort of big boy internship. So I was full-time. So I was, 8 to 5 on a regular day and 8 to 10 p.m. on a game day. But it was a lot of fun. My direct boss is, once again, we're still friends to this day. Great guy that mentored me to work my butt off and be the best that I could. And I got really, really lucky in that the internship was coming to a close, and a guy that was the coordinator at the game presentation department in the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx left. And so once again, back to the, make good where you're at, and you'll never know what's going to happen in the industry. And my boss and my next boss in Minnesota had a relationship, and he's like, what do you think about this Dodge kid? And I went up there and interviewed and got that gig. And so at 23, I moved to Minneapolis. So I did like a loop. I always say I went Syracuse, I went to Myrtle Beach. I said, I'll never go back north. I went to New Orleans, which even got hotter and stickier. And then I went back up to Minneapolis to negative degrees.
Yeah, we've got a chilly day here in Johnson City today. That wind's blowing, so it's 15 degrees, which I'm sure was probably a fairly warm day up in Minnesota.
For real. It was, I think the worst wind chill I had was negative 25.
Wow.
And like my eyelids were like about to, I barely made it to a skyway before my face actually literally froze. Fun fact for people out there that are in the warm states listening to this, you can get brain freeze from wind, not just from ice cream. You can get brain freeze from the wind hitting your forehead. And that's
exactly the same.
It does.
Yep.
It does. It feels identical, but you're the first time when you don't know that that's a real thing, and then you find a negative 25 degrees that is a thing, your life is forever changed.
I just learned something today. I mean,
there you go.
Bringing you on, we can just shut down the show now.
Right. I just hope just don't ever figure it out in real life. That should be your goal. Is you just take my word for it and never see negative 25 your entire life.
So how long are you in Minnesota?
3 years. 3 years.
Okay.
Yep. So I lucked out. I got to watch in my career. I got to watch 3 players transform their career. So I watched Chris Paul in New Orleans. I watched Kevin Love in Minnesota, and then I came back to Charlotte and worked for the Hornets. And so I got to see Kemba Walker come to be an all-star. So yeah, 3 years. 2010 to 2013 in Minnesota, and also won a couple of WNBA championships with the WNBA team because they were good as heck too. So,
who were their star players on that team? I can't remember.
WNBA?
Yes.
Yeah, like Simone Augustus, Lindsay Whalen, and she went to the University of Minnesota, so that was cool. And then Maya Moore. We drafted Maya Moore my first year, the number 1 pick in like 2010. 11 draft, the number 1 pick, and then we went into her rookie year. She won Rookie of the Year, and then we won the championship.
Awesome.
So good
so
times.
Your next stop is Charlotte, correct?
Back to Charlotte.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to. It was tough to get out of the full time of the NBA, but I just after 5 years being away from my family, I wanted to get back to Minnesota, to Charlotte. And my parents live in Columbia, and so do my sisters and my my 5 nieces and nephews are down in Columbia. So after being away for 5 years, the grind of oh gosh, that's 60 home games a year, with being the WNBA and the NBA team. Just wanted to get back to Charlotte. And so I knew I had some friends in Charlotte. What I knew I needed a big city. I had lived in Myrtle Beach. That was good for the college years. But then I went to New Orleans, decent mid-sized city, got a couple of professional sports. The Saints actually won the championship while I was down there. Went up to Minnesota, which I think is just a gem that I think everybody thinks that the Midwest stops after Chicago, and it doesn't, because Minneapolis is a fantastic city. And obviously people knew that back in the day, but I really got to see that. And I got to see the Minnesota like before Minneapolis really blew up, because the Metrodome was still there. So I saw a couple games in there before they tore that down. And then obviously now they had the the Final Four, they had the Super Bowl, and they had the X Games and all that kind of stuff. So Minneapolis is kind of popping now, but I saw it a little bit before. But yeah, I wanted to get down to a bigger city. I can't not be in a big city with young professionals and a lot of gyms to choose from, a lot of breweries to go to, networking events, sports teams. And so, yeah, wanted to get to Charlotte. And that's when I stepped away from sports for the first time, got into IT recruiting, but also working game nights for the Hornets, still in like the game presentation department. And so,
Was that just a part-time or?
Yeah, it was game nights.
Okay.
Yep. Just game nights. So obviously I knew the people in the department of the Hornets, because at the NBA we talk between teams and what are you doing that's working, what am I doing that's working, and we actually go to somebody's arena each summer. It's really cool, where they have, like I went to Orlando and all 32 teams came, and we talked about what worked and what didn't work, and networked and all that kind of stuff. And actually in one of the summer leagues, I sat and chatted with Emily from the Hornets. And so that's when it came along that I was going to, be working game nights for the Hornets. And so that was fun. That was another opportunity to improve what the Hornets were doing from a game night standpoint, all while, working full time at another gig. So I would actually get done with the IT recruiting at like 5:00 and race over to the arena and work over game nights over there. So always hustling.
Love it. So how long are you in this IT recruiting?
6 months. Had to get out. Yeah.
Then I know that your next stop is with the Littlefield Co. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I got in with them. I went over to one more advertising agency before that, but then I got in with with Littlefield Company January 1st of 2018. Duncan and myself, we started out as just two and a half people, and built it up to pretty sustainable little company. We're working with different brands in Charlotte, working with a couple of brands up in New York City. We shot a great video with a wine company out in Napa Valley that was awesome. So my love for video really grew when I was at all of these sports teams, because we shot video with the players, we shot video with the mascot. Anytime a timeout comes, we had to entertain the fans during the timeouts. And so my boss in Minnesota really taught me how to start storytelling through these concepts. We can make fun of pop culture, things that happened in the Super Bowl the night before. We can make fun of the fact that Christmas is coming up. Not make fun of Christmas, but like we can do funny content around, we did like this one video where it looks like the mascot for the Timberwolves is wrapping presents with all of the players' jerseys from the other team, and he just puts all of them around a log and lights all of the opposing team jerseys on fire in his fireplace.
Love it.
So just like those kind of funny things. We actually did a video for the Harlem Shake, that terrible trend from like 2011, where the mascot hit me with a bat, and we premiered it when we played LeBron when he was with the Heat, and it's got like 8 million views on YouTube. So that's my pride and joy. My 8 million viewed video on YouTube. So
is that the most views you've ever gotten on a piece of content?
A piece of content that I'm involved with, yes, that is
Okay.
that is the highest. But yeah, and so just started to have and really love content, love video. So I was never I was a director of relationships there, so I did a lot of account rep and stuff like that. But produced, directed, did everything but edit our content. But it was a fun time. We had a great crew, and worked with a lot of amazing clients. Really, I think really found a good niche for ourselves in the city of Charlotte as far as producing content. And yeah, it was a fun 2.5 years. It was a little tough in the middle of COVID, but we got through that.
So for the listeners that don't know, tell them what you're doing now.
Oh gosh. So I decided after after some thoughts, I wanted to kind of go all in on myself. I don't like regret, and so I said to myself, I just got out of a relationship in February, then COVID hit, then the industry kind of shifted, and TikTok came along, and I really leaned into TikTok, and I was like, all right, I love this. It's given me more creativity than I've had in a really long time. And I saw an ability to coach people on TikTok and kind of what's going on, how people are growing, how people are doing all those kind of things. And I also just wanted to go all in on myself. I feel like I have the ability to tell stories in a fun way. I have like funny ideas. If anybody knows the social media guy, Trey Kennedy, that does all these like funny scenarios on social media, he'll do like, he's like the person that goes to Target versus the person that goes to Walmart. Like he does like these funny kind of, I call it sketch comedy. So, I have some funny ideas that I do some sketch comedy for, and then also have teaching some clients on TikTok growth. And just if you have want to just get more views on your content, want to understand social media a little bit more, that's kind of, so I call myself a social media consultant, anywhere from YouTube, Instagram. Don't really touch Facebook too much because I think Facebook is dying. But TikTok, Instagram, IG Reels. I teach a class. There's a company here in Charlotte that's kind of like Skillshare. It's called Skill Pop, and they went virtual, obviously during the pandemic, using a platform like this as well. And I teach people how to, if they want to dive into TikTok or dive into IG Reels and figure out like which is their best option. So I've taught 3 of those classes. So that's really cool too, to actually have real life people coming in that really want to understand the apps that I spend way too much time on each day.
Mm-hmm. So in East Tennessee, I feel like everything is about 5 to 7 years behind a lot of times. So if you tell someone walking down the street that I even have the TikTok app on my phone, they laugh. They're like, what are you doing? You're trying to watch 12-year-old girls dance on there. Okay.
Yeah.
I've told Leighton numerous times with this Market Street Media that we're cutting edge with this whole podcasting and bringing this to this area, because there's been so much already that we've had to educate people. Like that little purple button on your iPhone, that's called a podcast, and you can hear me talk if you click on that. But so let's talk about TikTok, because you said February you got out of a relationship last year in 2020. COVID hit, and then you said you leaned into TikTok. So if I told someone I'm leaning into TikTok in East Tennessee, they're going to laugh their butt off. So let's talk about TikTok, why it's so awesome, and why you decided to lean into it and then be a coach when it comes to this app.
Sure. TikTok is, let me tell you, number one, if you take social media consultants or social media managers, if you told them that another app that's kind of sort of similar to Instagram and kind of sort of similar to Snapchat and kind of sort of similar to X, Y, and Z, do you think that another app could come in and just take over a large piece of the pie in the social media market? 9 out of 10 of them would have said there's no space. We have Instagram that's pictures and now Instagram stories. We got Snapchat that's kind of sort of dying. We got, people are talking through text on Twitter. People are getting into YouTube podcasts, all that kind of stuff. We feel like we had every single part covered. Then TikTok comes along. TikTok it's just a different bear, but it's doing things that and solving a lot of things that are kind of sort of different in the other social media platforms. Number one, why I feel like it's succeeding is it's fully immersive. So it's your entire phone. I think that's huge. If you go through Instagram, there's always going to be black or white, depending on what mode you're in, over top of the text. And so you're fully attracted to the fact that it's taking over your entire phone. So that's number one. Number two is the algorithm. The algorithm is the most precise algorithm that I've ever seen on any of these apps. If if you like to dance, if you like investing, if you like DIY, if you like sports, if you like whatever you like, if you give yourself a few minutes on TikTok, the algorithm is going to serve you the things that you really enjoy. And so that's how people say they get stuck into TikTok. Because if you like comedy sketches, then you're probably going to get a bunch of people doing impressions. Or if you like the newest dance trends, you're probably going to get a bunch of those as well. But also the growth too, the ability and the virality is what I call it. I don't even know that's a real word. The virality of TikTok. You can post something as simple as I actually just did a TikTok before I got here today and talked about being a millennial and how all of our CDs in our car still have like those weird people that come in between the verses. It says like 24hourhiphop.com and like come in between, because we had LimeShare, we had LimeWire and BearShare when we were in college. And so like there's a bunch of millennials on TikTok. So when I post that tonight, if a bunch of millennials are like, oh my God, I totally agree with this guy, like I still have those CDs in my car, then it's going to pick up a lot of steam. And then I'm going to get I can get potentially hundreds and thousands of views, which then equates to more follows. So, right. And I'm not even that quote unquote successful on TikTok. You know, I tell my friend, my buddy was like, dude, you got 10,000 followers on TikTok. I'm like, yeah, man. It's not that many. I got this person in Raleigh that I follow has got 274,000. I got this friend here in Charlotte that's got, 100,000. So it's also taking a lot of people that maybe got late to the Instagram game or to the Facebook game, and it's bringing them to stardom. And there's, obviously there's some people, and I think that everybody's going to feel this way. There might be some people on social media that don't have the worth or don't bring enough value to garner them having millions of followers. I hate to say it, but there's just some people that it's just like, I wish that those are the kind of people that I say like unfollow those people. But there's just so many amazing people out there in the world. That's what's really been fun to me, because if you think about your Instagram, you think about your Facebook, those are all the people that you chose to follow. But the algorithm on TikTok, the FYP or the For You page, if for those that aren't familiar with TikTok but have heard these phrases, For You page, that's the algorithm. And I spend my entire day on there. I'm just going through seeing what kind of things people are creating, what kind of funny impressions they're doing, what kind of trends that we're seeing out there. But the ability to go viral is so easy that I don't want to say the phrase easy, but like it's so possible. So like you can't go viral on Instagram. You can't go really unless you have all of your sharing, like your sharing ability on Facebook. Like you can kind of go viral on Facebook, and Twitter is a little bit easier too. But TikTok, I did a funny video that was copying this one girl. She had 6 million views on the video. I was like, if I start this video the same way this girl started the video, it'll catch on. And then a week later, it had 493,000 views on it. Wow. And then I gained like 3,000 followers. Like I have 11,000 followers right now, and those are from 4 viral videos. So a lot of people get viral videos, and they get more followers and more followers. But if there's anybody out there I feel like your next question is going to be like, well, so what does somebody do to get on TikTok? Was that right?
No. I was going to ask you why it's easier to go viral on TikTok versus the other apps. Is it because the algorithms are so good, or is it because it's not as saturated of an app?
It's saturated. There's millions of people on there. But, and I don't know the technicalities about it. I'm not a software engineer, so I don't really know, but the ecosystem, let's say that like all of the videos on TikTok are sitting in a pot, like your videos sit in this ecosystem way longer than any of Instagram or Facebook. Like I always say to people when I'm teaching this class, I say, think about it in your head. If you posted a photo or a video on your Instagram, tell me, have any of you got a like or a comment on that piece of content any time longer than 24 to 36 hours after you posted it? Like I posted a really, really funny video yesterday. Got 250 likes and 20 comments. I did an impression to David Rose from Schitt's Creek. Love that show. the interactions for the first 24 hours, high, very high. Have I gotten any likes or comments on that video today? No. So the ability for your content to live within this ecosystem I even had a video, another impression of David Rose. I had a video last month that was posted on a Tuesday and went viral on Saturday. So the ability because if you get the right, I call it riding the wave. Because what TikTok is doing is it's taking how many followers you have and your content, and it's throwing it out to 100 people and saying, hey, 100 people, tell me what you think about this video. Did you watch a lot of it? Did you comment on it? Is it funny? Is it so funny that you watched it 8 times without even scrolling away? And then it tells TikTok what those 100 people thought. And if let's say, for percentage purposes, 85% of the people really thought it was funny, it's going to serve it to another 1,000 people and say, hey, other 1,000 people, what do you think about this? Is this funny? Is this good? Does this keep your attention? And then it just keeps serving it and serving it and serving it. And that's how you go viral. Now there's like mini viral, like 10,000 views. There's, middle of the road viral, which is like 100,000. Then once you get up into the millions, but there's just so many people on the app, and the algorithm is just the pot in which your content is sitting in is just so much bigger, and it's just the longevity of it is just so much higher.
So with Facebook, you need really good copy. With Instagram, you need a really good picture.
Mm-hmm.
What's the secret recipe to being successful on TikTok?
Good question. Follow trends. If you follow trends, you could be a really good dancer. You could be a subject. I call them subject matter experts. If you're going to teach me the top 5 stocks to invest in, there's another, like, so you can have a niche. Honestly, like good lighting. There's ways to trick the algorithm. Good lighting. You got to hook somebody in the first like 0.3 seconds. So like, hey, millennials, or hey, software developers, or remember that one time when we were younger, like if you set the mood at the beginning of the video, it sucks them in. And then you just either tell a story within 10 to 15 seconds and it's funny and it punches you in the face, or you drag it on. You tell a nice long story. So I'm gonna tell you about the one time that I got stood up by a baseball player. And then you go through and you got to hook people for this long amount of time. So what I tell people is the easiest thing you can do is just be on there a lot. This is not an app that you can say like Instagram. I'm going to take 4 product pictures of my protein bar. I'm going to put them up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with a little bit of caption and just see what happens. It's not going to work like that on TikTok. You have to be in the app, understanding the algorithm, understanding what people are doing, and just because, and I know that I always start off with dancing because I love dancing, and you said that even too, from like, oh, I don't want to get on TikTok. You got those 12-year-olds dancing. Was my accent good? All you have to do is equate what you're doing on your page, whether that be personally or from a business standpoint, and build that with whatever trends are going on. So that's the coolest part about TikTok as well, is just if you follow trends, you're golden. And the other like aha moment I had when I was building out how I was going to teach this class is if you think about Instagram and you think about Facebook, the 2 things that they frowned upon for the past 10 years is people doing the same thing. If you I took a picture on a top of a rooftop with the downtown Charlotte in the background, and you posted on your Instagram, and that crushed. And then a competitor of yours, or like a girl that's doing the same thing that you're doing, goes to that same rooftop, does the same picture with the same backdrop, and posts it the next day. You're like, who are you? That was my idea. Why did you copy me? You're so unoriginal. TikTok is completely flipped. One person makes up a dance, one person makes up a trend, and everybody does it. If you look at, the WAP, the dance from Megan Thee Stallion, it's got like 2 point something million videos just based on that sound, because that was like the top dance of the summer. Now, did everybody do the exact same dance that everybody else did? No. Did some businesses showcase their top 10 products from their candle company while using the WAP song somehow? Sure. They probably did, and they probably sold a lot of candles because they use that specific sound. So you have to, understanding the social media, understanding what it does and how you can capitalize on that is how you're going to win. We had a really successful campaign with a client of mine that does digital business cards. It's called Holler, and they're on the back of your phone. You come up to somebody, you tap their phone, and they instantly have your digital business card. Shot a couple of videos with just an iPhone. We put together some scenarios. We made sure it was sunny. We got to the point. We told a story in 12 seconds, got out of it. And yes, it is a consumer brand that costs $16. And so while you're watching the TikTok, you can sit there on the couch and buy it all in one swoop. And so it is a little bit of a specific case, but we got millions and millions of views on some of these TikToks because people were commenting, people were saying like, that's dope. Like, hey, Stephanie, check this out, blah, blah, blah. But once again, the algorithm just hit, and we sold like 600 in the first few months just doing TikTok with our iPhone. We didn't do a video camera. We didn't do any saucy. It's just like anytime somebody says, tell me what TikTok is, it's like, it's a new social media that's the exact opposite of every other social media that we like. My friend works for my friend out in LA. She just got a marketing gig with a let's say like a skincare essential oils type company, and she says the copywriting team just sent me this. She sent me like a six sentence paragraph, and I was like, doesn't work on TikTok. Number one, there's a character limit, just like Twitter, so you can only put a certain amount of characters. And number two, it's not a caption app. You're not going to get me. The only thing that gets me with the captions in TikTok is something that's funny. Like I put up a Valentine's Day video and I wrote "single as a Pringle." That was my caption. Like, it's not a caption app. You either got to be funny in the caption or you got to write something simple. And so she's like, it's for a shampoo. And I was like more shampoo, less fading. That's what I told her to write. Like that's it. That's what TikTok is, because nobody cares about the caption. Plus, the app's on your entire phone. So the more caption you use, the higher your caption rises into your video, and it takes away from the fully, encapsulating portion of your phone. So that's a long-winded answer to what makes TikTok different.
It's okay. So if we want to dance or be trendy or even sell products, seems like this can work on TikTok. But what about like a service-based business? Like, how do you create a TikTok account for a gym or a podcast studio? Like how would you make the service-based businesses intriguing or engaging?
It's a great question. Number one, you can still, there's a guy called, he's called the Fittest Wizard. He's like Gumby, but he's jacked and he's a CrossFit guy. He does every single top dance on TikTok and has blown up on TikTok. You can if you're a gym, have your members, if they like TikTok, they can do some of the dances too. If you're also a gym, like I said, subject matter experts will always win on TikTok. So I told my hairstyling, I'm getting my haircut yesterday, trying to look pretty for this podcast. And she's like, I'm not getting any traction on my IG reels. I'm just not getting any traction. I was like, what can you teach somebody that brings them value, that then when they're saying like, oh, that girl taught me how to do, she made fun of me, like an updo poof, whatever that's called. That's the hairdresser that helped me look good for that party I went to. I'm going to go get my haircut by her. So I've been going to gyms my entire life. If you think that, and the other thing that holds people back too, I do it myself. you think you don't have enough value to bring to the market. Of course you do. You own a gym. You obviously got certified. You got the least, like if you have a gym, talk about how you got the gym. Talk about how long you've had the gym. Talk about how to do a proper back squat. Talk about how to do a dumbbell snatch. Talk about customer retention. Talk about the funniest thing that ever happened in your gym. Talk about the transformation of the 5'2" girl that used to play soccer and now she's going to the CrossFit games. Like, everybody has a story to tell, but how you tell it, where you tell it, when you tell it, that's up to you. If you're not posting, multiple times a day on all of your social media in some facet, then you're losing. And it's every single, not only do you need to continue to get your story out so more people know who you are and come to your gym and hire you and all that, but also the algorithm's going to tell you that the more you post, it's going to be better. Mm-hmm. So you got to be doing that a lot. I mean, obviously, if I were to walk into, I always go back to the candle company. I walk into the candle company and say, you got to post 4 to 5 times on TikTok, their brain's going to explode. So as much as you can do as possible, but take the most granular level thing that you think, like how many gym owners could you walk into and say, today on your social media, you're going to teach in under 1 minute how to do a proper back squat. They'll laugh you all out of the room, but there's people sitting on their couch that don't have a gym membership that want to know, 1, how to do a back squat, and 2, to know that you don't know what the algorithm's going to do. Sudden, your organic post on whether that IG Reel or TikTok is now gone viral, and now you're seen as the back squat guy, and so you're like, oh well, do like rinse and repeat the back squat tutorial that took 57 minutes because I was very engaging and it was good lighting and I held the attention of the person and all those kind of things. We'll then do a front squat and do a clean and jerk and do a box jump, like the mechanics and breaking things down to be a little bit more molecular than what you're really doing is what I think is super beneficial when you're trying to talk on social media. It's like you have to cater to what your followers followed you for a reason. Yeah, it'd be good to get out and get 10,000 more followers. But what if I told you that your social media is not going to grow by one person for the rest of your time here on Earth? Then I'm pretty sure you would try to find out how to talk the best you can to those 5,000 followers, 6,000 followers, 30 followers. Because those 30 followers be your customers for the rest of your life. If your product is worth $1,000, you sell it to those 30 people every single year, you're gold.
Right.
So
what I'm taking away from what you're saying is sometimes don't think it has to be some amazing, over the top, great piece of content. Just keep it basic and post daily.
Post daily, and yes, you're exactly right. And like I said, take a person, like break it down as whoever came up with that conversation or that saying, break it down for a 5th grader. I like I said, my friend holds me to that too. He's like, what do you know about, like, tell me everything you know about TikTok. Well, you got to post it this time. You got to post 4 or 5 times. You got to have good lighting, and you got to have a disruption at the beginning and a kicker at the end. And he's like, have you ever told your social media like everything that you just told me that? And I was like, no. He's like, you need to do that more. And so bring value to not only your followers, but bring value to the people that potentially could also see your content as well.
I love it. So let's talk about some of these brands that you're working with and how you've helped them in your short time as a coach.
Yeah. So we had that one client, Holler, and me and my buddy Dave, the co-founder, we tackled that. I think the last time I checked, they had like 25,000 followers on TikTok. We started back in September. They got some big stuff coming our way soon. We actually put these little tags that go on the back of your phone. We actually put them inside of phone cases. So that's coming out here soon. So that's really cool. I work with a mortgage company. We're doing YouTube and IG Reels, leaning into that. We're taking the blogs that they do and creating them into video content. I've started working with a men's skincare company called Disco. It's a great company based out of Austin, Texas. I started as an ambassador with them 2 months ago. And then I had this idea of a video, because they obviously have face masks for guys, and it takes like 10 minutes for the face mask to dry. And I was like, 10 minutes. It's like the perfect amount of like a short, to the point podcast. I was like, why don't I get my buddy to put on a mask? I'll put on a mask, and then we'll just talk for 10 minutes about skincare. And I sent it to the CEO, and he was like, yeah, we need to do more stuff like this. So they just brought me on to do content for them as well. So yeah, a couple other small little brand products here and there. I got a protein bar company out of Houston. I got a nut butter company, a buddy of mine here in Charlotte. So just trying to create as much content as possible. I dance. I call myself Dance and Dodge on my YouTube. My friend's daughter calls me Dance and Dodge. And so I started. My niece is 2.5 years old, and my sister's a teacher. And so I was like, how could I increase my watch time on YouTube while continuing to bring value to everybody that I love? And I was like, I have a lot of friends and a lot of family members that have 0 to 5-year-olds. So I'm going to dance and teach things on YouTube. And so I have 3 videos out about just teaching kids shapes and colors of the rainbow. And at the end of each teaching, we dance to like this random song I find online for like 2 minutes, and it's a blast.
Yeah, like I sent you a video last week. You had my kids in the living room dancing.
Oh yeah,
great.
Oh yeah. Thanks for the follow, Aaron, on TikTok. Appreciate that. Let me know if you need any help.
So, Aaron, one of my favorite things about you is your impressions. So when I was sending over today's outline, I said, I got to know your top 5, like Sports Center top 10 to 1. I'm going to keep you at 5. I don't want to overwhelm you, but we need some laughs on this cold and dreary day here in East Tennessee. So,
okay,
what you got for us?
All right. So did you say that we decided that you're no longer going to do impressions, and it's just going to be like five for me?
Are you going to hold me to my impressions?
I think so. If you have something that's different than mine, you should be adding to this as well. One
of my favorite impressions is Mike Tyson, not because I'm so good at it. It's just some of the stuff he says is just over the top.
Well, let's hear it.
I'll do my Mike Tyson. You know, he had that one fight or his post fight interview, and he's like, "I broke my back." Like, what do you mean? My back is broken. It's spinal. And that's just always been, I love it.
Love that.
What's your number 5?
Number 5, we're going to start out with Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, that's good.
So this started between a buddy of mine in college. I don't know. He's just like, I think he made words. So you'll hear say a bunch of Marky here soon. But like, okay, I gotta get like in the. Some of these I can rifle off, and some like Stephen, I gotta get in the mood. So, no. Excuse me. So you trying to tell me that LeBron James is not the best player on earth? Is that what you're telling me right now? He is unequivocally, indisputably the number 1 player in the NBA. Bar none. See you later.
I love it. If I could do a Skip Bayless, I would be back at you. All right. I had a Stewie Griffin. Yes. You know, the What the Deuce and stand-up comedy is so 20 years ago, but Twitter's only 3 years ago. So.
Cool whip. Why are you saying whip weird? Cool whip.
All right, what's your number 4?
You know, I told you that I was going to go to the Robin Williams impression, and I forgot to go back on my TikTok and watch it. So I'll just try to bring up as many as I can remember. So for those of you that are watching this at any point, and I talk about TikTok, and so this is still to this day. I've posted a lot on TikTok. This is still to the day the longest filming it ever took. It took me an hour and a half to do this video, because there's a way for you to stay within each impression. So let's say like a typical video, if you're changing the camera angle 3 times, there's this Robin Williams impression from Mrs. Doubtfire. He changes the angle, or he says 15 different things. And so I have to scrub back the audio on TikTok and get it exactly precise, because he has to be saying like the last word from this one impression, but then the next impression's like on the back of it. So that was a challenge, but I'm going to forget some of them, but it was, so I'm just going to start rattling them off. But it's the scene where he says to the lady, where he's trying to tell her that he does voices because he needs to have a job to file, or like need to say that he's trying to find a job for unemployment. And so she's like, so you do voices? He's like, yes, I do voices. He's like, yes. He's like, I'm crazy to make a deal with you. Well, I'm still trying to find the other half of my brain. He's like, you want to see the impression of a hot dog?
Awesome. Oh, I had to learn an Elmo impression with a 5 or a 4.5 and a 1.5-year-old. So, oh hey everybody, it's me, Elmo. Welcome to Sesame Street.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's your number one. That's I got my list over here. Like that's my one so far.
Cool. What do you got next?
I think I'm gonna go Ace Ventura. This is Ace Ventura 1. I do have a sliding door here on my podcast, so I could have done but I'm not gonna do that. It's this one's a little bit of a challenge, so I'm going to try to go slower to make sure that I get through it all. It's when he's trying to find Ray Finkel, and the dad like pulls out the gun, and he's like, what do you know about Ray Finkel? Soccer star, graduated from Collar High June 1976 with the Stetson University honor graduate class of 1980. Who owns 2 NCAA Division I records, one for points in season, one for distance. Former nickname the Mule, first and only pro athlete to come out of Collar County, one hell of an All-American.
That's awesome.
Such a tongue twister.
Clearly, I'm impressed. One of my favorites of all time is Herbert from Family Guy, the Creeper.
Chris.
Oh, I see there, mostly on.
I got some popsicles in my basement.
It's me again, just lonely here, thinking about that paper boy. Wonder when it's gonna bring me some good news.
Some good news. You gotta get that like that news.
All right, I'll add that to it.
You gotta hold out that S. Hold out the S. Next up for me is Grinch. Okay, so obviously my top 3 are all Jim Carrey impressions. Love Jim Carrey, have my entire life. He's also an Enneagram 7, him and Robin Williams. So I'm an Enneagram 7 myself, which is the enthusiast, if you can anticipate that. So I've wanted to dress up as the Grinch. I was like, I don't care what it costs. I don't care how to get it done. I just decided that this year was going to be the year that I was going to dress up as the Grinch and make a bunch of content. So that's another plug. Check out my content for some Grinch impressions if you like the Grinch. So this is he's figuring out if his schedule is too booked. So here we go. He's like, damn it, those who's invited me down there on such short notice. Even if I wanted to go, my schedule wouldn't allow it. 4 o'clock, wallow in self-pity. 4:30, stare into the abyss. 5 o'clock, solve world hunger, tell no one. 5:30, exercise. 6:30, dinner with me, I can't cancel that again. 7 o'clock, wrestle with myself, loathing, I'm booked. Of course, I booked the loathing to 9. I can still be done in time to lay in bed, stare at the ceiling, and slip slowly into madness. But what would I wear?
That is awesome. Oh, man.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, how much did that outfit cost?
Actually, it wasn't that bad. I found a girl in Philly on Etsy that made the face. and then she sent me some extra fur, and so I got a lady here in Charlotte to build out the head because it's like he doesn't have ears, so it has to go around my head. 50 bucks, and Amazon it was like $100. So like all in all, it was under 400. And I mean I got a cosmetic like a person that does makeup to actually put it on my face for the first time. But it's all you have to do is just like glue it to my face with face glue, and then I gotta do like the mascot thing and put like green on the inside and green on my chin. But the rest of it is just, and then I just did double-sided tape. Like my sister hired me out for her friends to take pictures with her with their babies because like the pandemic, like they couldn't sit on Santa's lap, and so she's like, I got these two friends with little kids that haven't had any pictures done. Will you just like sit on this stool in our front yard and they'll come over and you'll just be the Grinch? It was like the best hour of my life because my sister and my dad got to see me like in full. I didn't break character for like an hour. I was just like, no, you over there with the camera, come on. Like it was the best. My dad and my sister were just rolling.
There was a guy here locally that had the exact same outfit. And so my wife one night, she said, we're going to go downtown and see the Grinch. He's handing out toys. And lo and behold, he's handing out like pretty decent Lego sets. And this guy apparently did it over town for, I don't know if it was weeks or what, but it was real cool.
My thing that I want to do that I've always said that I want, if I ever get the suit, that I didn't get to do it this year, but I think it would be hilarious to go to like Walmart as a Salvation Army, like change giver and just be the Grinch and just scream obscenities at people like in the parking lot. Like, you can give more than that. Come on. Like it would just be, so I'll probably do that.
You never want to make eye contact with those people because you're like, oh, I feel bad if I don't give anything.
Yeah, wouldn't that be just so much more enjoyable if you were walking into Walmart instead of like a really upset person, like ding, like what if the Grinch was like, I know you got change, like that'd be freaking hilarious.
That sounds like a viral video in the making.
I feel like I can get on Influencers in the Wild with that one. I think that could happen.
All right, what's number one?
Whoa.
I'm out. I don't have anything else. I'm out.
Okay, this is another one. Liar Liar is also in my top 5 movies of all time because, once again, Jim Carrey, and it's just got so many classic lines in it. But this one is when he gets pulled over by the cop. He's speeding, and he says, he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? He's like, depends on how long you were following me. And so he's like, let's just start at the top. And he goes, I sped. I followed too closely. I ran a stop sign. I almost hit a Chevy. I sped some more. I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes in the intersection. I changed lanes without speeding while running a light and speeding. And he's like, is there anything else? And the best part is he's like, I have unpaid parking tickets. And he hits the glove compartment and all the tickets come out.
That's great.
I'm all out. That's my top 5.
Okay.
I've never had anybody tell me to rank my my impressions.
Yeah.
I like that.
You're welcome. So
I think you just gave me a TikTok idea. I feel like I could slam all of these. That's a great idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
You just get ideas for content. You just roll with it. These are top 5 impressions. Stephen A. Smith, Denzel Washington.
How long is it going to take you to film and edit that though?
Oh, that'll be easy.
Okay.
They want you to use all their features too. So like text over, that's the other thing too, like the choppiness of the filming. That's another thing that's going to make people stay interested. So unless you're telling something really compelling, another tip for those of you watching for TikTok tips is like hold your finger down on the button and then take it off every once in a while. So, hey guys, I'm going to tell you the top 5 tips to, growing your bank account in 2021, and then take it off, reposition a little bit, come back. Tip number 1, and then take your finger off. Tip number 2. So don't set your phone down and go, these are the top 5. Like keep the motion going.
Helps with that engagement and keeping them on there longer than just a second or 2.
Sure does.
Cool. Well, Aaron, thanks for coming on today, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, it was
I
a
kind of
blast.
I kind of selfishly wanted to just talk marketing with somebody instead of the fitness podcast that's advertised at the top, but it's been some great stuff and definitely some good laughs. So
Of course. And see what happens when you just slide in the DMs and hey, Thursday, I want to next week I want to do a podcast. Are you available? Yep. Okay, cool.
see, I was already married whenever sliding into DMs became a thing. So this is my first success story, maybe, with sliding into DMs.
There you go.
Love it. But so tell people how to follow you on your unique handles.
Yeah. Obviously, the top two that I'm on from a daily standpoint is Instagram and TikTok, and that's Aaron_Dodge. Somebody on Twitter has Aaron_Dodge, so I'm Mr._Aaron_Dodge on Twitter. Like I was saying to you, got on Clubhouse is a great new app that I'm really leaning into. So if you haven't heard of that, unfortunately it's only on iPhone, but it's basically like live podcasting with a bunch of people in a room talking about a topic. It's super cool. I held my first room last night. We just kind of talked about 2020 and 2021 and spreading joy, and so that was fun. But yeah, it's a great new social media platform. Definitely check that out. And yeah, on my YouTube channel as well. Searchability for that's a little bit harder, but Aaron Dodge Grinch. You can find me on that. But yeah, all of my videos are linked somewhere on my Instagram, so in my link tree, so you can find one of my YouTube videos and get back over there.
If you can help me get a Clubhouse invite, I would love that. I have no.
Dude, I got one coming for you, man. They're starting to give out. They're realize hit critical mass, and so I got a bunch of invites. So I got you.
Thank you, dude. Well, listeners, thank you all for hanging out with us for a little bit. Hope you got a couple good laughs, and we'll be catching up next week. Once again, thanks, Aaron.
Appreciate it. Take care.